All right, let's get right into it. If you've ever wanted to move past the simple AI chatbots and build systems that can actually think, plan, and get things done on their own, then you're going to love this. We're about to lay out the complete 5-step blueprint for creating powerful AI agents, taking you from that first flicker of an idea all the way to a full-blown scaled automation. So the first thing we got to wrap our heads around is this huge mental shift. For years, automation has been about simple rules. If this happens, then do that. Think Zapier. In AI agent, it's a completely different ballgame. You don't give it a command, you give it a mission. You just say, figure out how to achieve this, and it does the rest. And here's our roadmap for how to build one. First, we'll find that initial spark. Then we'll architect the agent's brain, give it the right tools, build a whole team of them, and finally scale the entire operation. So let's jump in. Step 1 is all about finding the right problem to solve. We're not talking about automating a mouse click here. We're talking about tackling ambitious goals that a simple rule-based system wouldn't even know where to begin with. We call this the spark. It's that aha moment. It's when you realize your problem is way too complex for a rigid workflow. You stop thinking, how do I automate this little task? And you start asking, how do I achieve this huge outcome? That's the gist. So how do you find your spark? Well, you have to think bigger. What's a really complex goal you wish you could automate? I mean, how about building an entire website fully integrated with Stripe for payments, all from a single prompt? Or what about creating an AI Twitter influencer that actually studies top accounts and generates its own engaging content? These things are possible, and they all start with a goal, not a simple rule. Okay, so you've got your ambitious goal. Now what? Step 2 is the architecture. We're going to build the agent's digital brain. And trust me, it's way less complicated than it sounds. An AI agent's brain really just boils down to 3 key parts. You've got the LLM core, that's the thinking part. You've got memory, so it has context. And you've got tool access, which are basically its hands to interact with the world. The LLM core is the engine, right? This is your heavy hitter, like a GPT-5, Gemini, or Claude. It does all the reasoning, the planning, and it breaks down your big goal into small, manageable steps. This is where the actual strategy gets created. But here's the thing, a brain in a jar is totally useless. So the how-to here is all about empowering that brain. You give it memory, so it remembers its past actions and learns. And, most importantly, you give it tools. Access to APIs, databases, you name it, so it can actually do stuff in the world. And that leads us perfectly into step 3, tool mastery. This is where we stop talking theory and start giving our agent the real-world skills it needs to get the job done. You can think of this like building a digital library of superpowers for your agent. We can give it tools to read from Google Sheets, send messages through Gmail, process payments with Stripe, browse the web, or even write and execute its own code. Every tool you add is a new capability. And this is where it all clicks into place. If your goal is to create a daily support digest, well, your agent is going to need tools for Gmail and Google Sheets. Building a live dashboard of events in New York City, it's going to need a web scraper and a database API. The goal always dictates the tools. Now, one agent is cool, but a team of agents, that's where the real magic happens. Step 4 is all about creating a digital workforce to tackle those truly massive, complex challenges. So, why a team? Well, think about it. Complex problems are almost never solved by one person who knows a little bit about everything. You get way better results when you have a team of specialists, each laser-focused on their part of the puzzle. So let's meet your digital A-team. You could have a researcher agent whose only job is to scour the internet and your company's documents for info. Then an analyst agent takes all that raw data, finds the hidden patterns, and pulls out key insights. And finally, a creator agent takes those insights and builds the final product, whether it's code, a report, or a slide deck. And if you want a really mind-bending example, look at this prompt. Orchestrate a dialogue between a neuroscientist and a philosopher, then compile a report. Wow, that is not a one-agent job. You need researchers digging up academic papers, an analyst to synthesize the debate, and a creator to write a brilliant long-form report. That's teamwork. Which brings us to our final and maybe most important step, scaling. It's time to go from a clever prototype to a rock-solid, secure system that an entire business can actually rely on. This is the final hurdle, and it is a big one. It's one thing to build a cool demo on your laptop. It's a whole other ballgame to build something that's reliable, secure, and can handle the pressures of a real enterprise environment. And the stakes are incredibly high. Why? Well, just look at this number, 30%. Studies are showing that over 30% of the code written by AI has security flaws. When you're building a system for your business, that is a risk you absolutely cannot take. Security has to be job number one. So how do you do it? You follow the industry standards like the OWASP Top 10 for large language models. These are the best practices. You have to protect against things like prompt injection, secure every single tool you integrate, prevent data leaks, and constantly be monitoring for any funny business. And it's not just security, by the way. At the enterprise level, you're also thinking about performance, managing costs, making sure you don't get locked into one specific provider, and of course, data compliance. It's a serious checklist for serious work. And there it is. That's the whole blueprint. You start with your Spark, you build the architecture, you pick the right tools, you form a team of specialists, and then you scale it all securely and responsibly. You now have the fundamental blueprint to go from an idea to a fully functioning agentic system. The only question left is, what are you going to build that will change your industry? But just remember, building systems this powerful comes with a huge amount of responsibility. So make sure you subscribe, because in our next explainer, we are diving deep into the ethical implications of autonomous AI. You are not going to want to miss that one.